So we are here at the Globe Dye Works building, a beautiful restoration of history here in Philadelphia. And there's a couple of food eateries in one space. There's Birch Street Catering, there's Rival Brothers Coffee. And we wanted to talk to Weckerly's, which is kind of a newest addition here to the building as a food eatery. And they have a retail space out on Girard Avenue in Fishtown. And this is where they do all their wholesale production as far as all the retail that they sell. Beautiful sandwiches that taste like blueberries, taste like strawberries, taste like the herbs, because the brains, Jen, pastry chef and co-owner, really intentionally thinks about how the product's flavor profile come across. Her husband is more on the management side and kind of a jack of all trades. They're reconfiguring their wholesale space to outfit where they want to be. And we understand the challenges that food eateries have all the time, but this forward thinking happens when we understand what operators have to go through. So I hope you stay with us and learn just as much as we did from their experience.
When we first wanted to start the business, we wanted to have an ice cream shop. Like, that was the idea. Then we realized we have no money. So it was cheaper than to rent like a kitchen space in a neighborhood that wasn't as, like a business quarter that would be more expensive rent. So we had to then like redo the whole idea of what the business was going to be. And we, instead of starting with just an ice cream shop, a scoop shop, we went more towards like the catering, the wholesale, and the like mobile events and stuff like that. So that was, it's a challenge to like be flexible, because you're like, you have this idea in your head of like what you want your business to be. And it can still be what you want it to be. It just has, you have to be a little flexible. So we still use local and seasonal ingredients. We still,
like you pick your core thing, like what is the most important value to keep? And then move around that.
And try to be nimble. And like, actually we've gotten like so many compliments on like being nimble, of being like, oh, it's great that you have like, you started with this, and like you aren't tied down to one spot that's really expensive, because that could have like, we didn't have any money, so that we wouldn't have worked, But another thing I thought of that is like, it's still a big challenge, is just telling our story, like that's really hard, because you don't want to, on the label, you don't want to say, we're Weckerly's ice cream, we make local seasonal ice cream, like blah, blah, blah. You're just like trying to convey that quickly and like, so that people know what we're trying to get at. I think that I always tell Andy, like, if people just put it in their mouth and taste it, they'll understand what we're trying to do.
Right. Okay, so what's a job that you would be terrible?
Pretty much anything in front of a computer. I'm bad at it. I get really bored. I can't sit still. Like, I'm so used to, I've been working in kitchens since I was like 22, so a really long time. And I'm just used to moving constantly. And I was just talking to a friend of mine about this, like, I don't know that much about computers. Like, I really don't. And like, I know enough to get by, and I think that like anyone today, like, you use a computer so much, you use your phone so much, that like, of course, like, I know how to work computers, but like, I don't know, like, I would be terrible. I would just melt down, I think. Yeah. And I would fall asleep.
Yeah. So what's something relaxing to you?
I really like watching movies, and like, I don't get a lot of time to do that because I'm here quite a bit, but that's one thing that I really like, and spending time with friends and family. Yeah. But for the most part, like, I just started jogging again finally, because I have time to get up in the morning and do that, but like, that's super relaxing and feels good to like make sure that, I'm taking care of myself.
This journey to becoming what your business is now can be very isolating. Not even just your role now, but your job, this job.
Yeah.
Being in the food industry can be very isolating. Like, can you resonate with that?
Well, so yeah, when I worked in restaurants and stuff, like, I was always around a lot of people. You have like a built-in kind of like social scene, you know, that you after you're done work, you go out with. And once we started doing this on our own, it was kind of like, you know, we're in Frankfurt, we're in Northeast Philadelphia, kind of in the middle of nowhere, and I'm at this kitchen all day. I'm just like by myself all day. And so that was different, like for sure. Luckily, you know, Andy and I are married and we were working together. We got to see each other all the time.
You're like, hey, honey,
yeah, all the time.
Right now.
But yeah, our parents definitely worried about us, and we got to see our parents and like siblings. My brother works for us, so that helps. My sister does a lot of sign painting for us, so I would get to see them at least. But, you know, friends, you kind of just, they would keep calling or texting, wanting to do stuff with me, and I was just like, can't. And eventually, you know, people will call you less. But now that we have more time, I can reach out to those people that I don't get to see, and it's just different. I feel like when you work in a kitchen, like, and you work for someone else, you know, you work a lot, but you have, like, a lot of your priority of your life is to, like, hang out socially, and that changes when you're doing your own thing. And it takes a while to like kind of accept that and let it sink in that like this isn't the most important thing for me. My social life isn't the most important thing. I still value it. I still want to see those people, but I need to like put all my time into this, and my priorities are here. And eventually I'll be able to like open that back up and like see everyone again. And I get to do that now, and that's great. And it takes like you feel guilty for a while, just like telling people no, I can't hang out. And then eventually I kind of just am like, well, they'll get it. If they don't get it, then they don't get it. But
they don't understand.
But and that's how, like, I can explain it to them or I cannot, and it's just I need to worry about this now and not beat myself up for like not being able to hang out all the time.
Right.
For a while, all I talked about was ice cream and like making ice cream. And I would go to a party and just be like, I have no clue how to do this. And I used to be really good at parties. Like I could talk to everyone, and I find that it's different now. I'm just like, I'm so cut off from that like when I do go to a party, there's a lot more awkward moments of me just being like, meh. But at the same time,
I totally get it.
But there's something else that I think happened with like, you know, there's not much in the way of restaurants in this area. So oftentimes I would be here by myself all day, and I would bring like a lunch with me. But you know, middle of July when we were crazy slammed, there was a time period where all I ate was blueberries. So like when we went to a party and there was food, that was all I cared about. I'd just be like, oh sweet, like it's not blueberries. And I would just like go to the table with the food, and that was all I cared about in the social. I mean, I would talk to the people around the food table, but like that was my main goal, was to like, I'm gonna get a drink, I'm gonna get a lot of food, and then maybe I'll talk to some people. But like for the most part, yeah, your priorities totally change. We're like, I'm not gonna just like go and socialize. I mean, I will, but first I'm gonna eat food that isn't blueberries. Yeah, that was confusing. Just like, all I eat is blueberries, and Andy was like, I'm gonna bring you a sandwich. Like, good.
Like our audience is really largely in the food industry,
right?
And I feel like they all feel the same. This almost sometimes overarching sense of responsibility when it comes, because it's your baby, it's all this stuff.
Yeah, it's everything is very like right now. Like you kind of, it's time sensitive things. Like, you know, there's holidays coming up that you want to like put out new flavors for, or there's, you know, season, like we're very seasonal, so you know, when strawberries are in season, we have to do stuff with strawberries. So like you kind of like have to do everything when like right when it's ready, and you're kind of chasing that all the time. But yeah, you get this like sense of urgency all the time, which is, I think, at times I love, and I've always loved that of like the restaurant industry, where it's just like there's a hustle to it, which is great, and it's like, you know, you get in the zone and you're just like doing this, like I'm cooking, but at other times it can get really stressful, you know? So you're just kind of like, all right, it's like I just need to like shut it off. I feel like when I leave here for the night, like I'm very good at shutting it off. Yeah, I don't know how, I just do. Yeah. I think it's kind of like, I do most of my work in the kitchen, so if I'm not here, I can't do anything. So why would I worry about it? You know, if we're running out of something, it's like I can come back in and work, or I can sleep, and we've learned to sleep.
Yeah.
When Andy and I first started, we were both working here all the time. We would do like 20-hour days. Yeah. It was ridiculous, and like we definitely learned that we could never do that again, and we don't know how we did it. Like we put a futon here and we're sleeping here when there was more space. Like because it was just like, okay, it's like 4 in the morning and we have to be back here at 6 in the morning, so we just need to sleep here. Like,
Yeah.
it was terrible. But I mean, when we started,
Not sustainable.
not sustainable at all. But when we started, we didn't have any money, so all we had was our time. So we just put all of our time into it. And now we've learned that, like, we need, you know, if we can, we need to find someone else that can do things for us and like delegate the work, and that sleep is way more important, you know, than like, if we're running low on something, we'll get to it tomorrow. Like, it's just, sleep is important. Like, our own well-being is very important. And that was hard to like realize when we were it was like such a big risk to put everything into it, which was all of our time. And then you start to realize, like, okay, what's the worst that could happen? You know, like, it's not, the business isn't going to crumble because we go home and go to sleep. Like,
the driving force of that is that there wasn't enough money to do
right.
what you needed.
Exactly.
And that sometimes is like, you know, the element that people need to consider. It's like, it's not because you had to do that to be successful.
Yeah, I mean, we wanted to be successful, sure, but like, we committed to these jobs. We had to like produce this amount of product. And all we had was time. We didn't have money to hire someone to help us. And like, when we did start hiring people, they were like part-time, and they would leave and we would just stay. Like, and they were like, oh, when are you leaving? And you're like, I'm not leaving. Like, I'm here. And they were just like, sorry. And I'm like, no, go. Like, this is your part-time job. Like, get out of here. We can't afford it. But like, now we can. Now we have a full kitchen, and it's amazing. Like, it's amazing how much stuff gets done. It's just that, and I look back and I'm like, how are we doing all of it ourselves, you know? But I mean, at the same time, we're catering to more people. Like, we were only doing so many, you know, wholesale accounts, but it was still insane. I mean, it's crazy. So we're an ice cream company that is local and seasonal. So we use all local ingredients when we can. Like, you know, our sugar and our chocolate, vanilla, that's not local, but no one grows, you know, cocoa beans around there. So like, obviously, and we have to have chocolate ice cream because it's chocolate ice cream. But for the most part, you know, our cream and our milk all come from Chester County, from 7 Stars in Camp Hill. And then, you know, our eggs are Elizabeth, Pennsylvania, Sandy Ridge eggs. And then all the fruit and everything during the summer, all from local farms in the like Jersey and Pennsylvania. I think most of them are like no further than like 40 miles away. So that's a big deal for us. We want it to be local, we want it to be seasonal. So, you know, it's kind of hard because in March we have people asking us for like mint ice cream. I'm like, do you see mint growing anywhere? I mean, there's some greenhouses that have stuff like that, but yeah, we're like, that's a struggle a little bit when spring starts coming. People want fruit, and I'm like, I don't have it yet. But it tastes so much better whenever it's in season. I mean, so much better. And I learned a lot about seasonality from working at White Dog, where that's their big deal. And I don't see why you would want to eat like peaches in the middle of the winter. Right. They don't taste as good.
Exactly. When you've had it at peak season, why would you? And you know that the flavor profiles are not the same outside of that window. You maximize it. There you go.
So I mean, we're making, you know, this ice cream that's seasonal, it's local, it's organic. And the idea behind that is just to get the best flavor, and like, when you use really good ingredients, you get the best flavor. So, but we definitely want to educate people about like where we're getting all of our ingredients from, because it's important to support smaller farms and like local suppliers. I think it's a no-brainer for us.
It's time.
Right.
Like, I don't want to do this. You know, like that kind of awareness, I would say, is something that just hearing you talk about your story was like, once it was like, we can, let's do it.
Yeah, definitely. It was like, it was time to hire people, and it was time for us to have a bit of a life and rest.
But there's also like a stigma. Like, people are like, I don't talk to you because you don't do like fine dining food, or you don't do the style. Do you see that?
Yeah, oh yeah, because I mean, I've always been a pastry chef, and like, I did fine dining, but like, I was a pastry chef. So like, there's the separation between like culinary and pastry. And now doing this, I see that. I mean, we're an ice cream company. It's not fine dining. I think that there's a bit of a separation, but I never, like, it's gonna sound like, I just never really cared about that stuff. I mean, I'm not impressed by it. I think if you're making something good, you're making something good, and that's what impresses me. Where you're making it doesn't impress me as much. It's just like, if you stand by your food and everything, like that's more important to me. So yeah. So if people are like, oh, that's just an ice cream company, then they can just say that. Like that's fine.
Yeah.
It's cool.
I feel like there's this like cultural stigma, like where like the more names you tout, the more respect you earn, and it's not just like getting a job, because of course you do, like how people get elevated to another position.
And it's like networking is important for sure. And yeah, being connected to other food people is great, and I love being connected to other food people, but I just don't. I think that the more sincere you are, the more I'm going to respect you. That's all.
Exactly.
I think that there's plenty of people out there that are very sincere, and I love it, So, but yeah, I think that that's kind of going away.
Yeah.
And I like that it's just like everyone just respects each other for their work. That's important.
Yeah.
It's great.
Well said. Yeah.